Hi, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to Ask the Hummingbird. This is your hideaway for calm, clarity, and advice on everyday issues and problems. So let's have a look at the question we've got for today. Dear Hummingbird, I feel completely overwhelmed. I'm juggling work, kids, home, and there's just never enough for me to go around. How do I cope? Well, I can massively relate to this. So being a mum of three, having a dog, a house, husband, and a job, and running my own business, there is never enough of me to go around, and I feel completely overwhelmed and burnt out at times as well. Even more so in the last couple of weeks. So we've just had the long summer holidays, and the children have just gone back to school, of which I was really looking forward to. But what I found is that it's just got busier than ever. So having the kids at home was busy, but it's just got busier than ever because you've got all of the school clubs, all of the remembering of when it's PE day, they need a packed lunch, if there's a charity event that they need £1 for, own clothes days, etc., etc. If you're a mum of particularly primary age school children, you will be able to relate to this. So how do we overcome that burnout, feeling of overwhelm, feeling of spreading ourselves too thin? One of the things that I try and do is think about what are the jobs that only I can do, and actually what are the jobs that other people can do, whether that's other people in the house, in your family, or that you can pay somebody to do, or even that don't need to happen at all. If you're anything like me, you will try and take it all on, trying to do it all, trying to do it to a really high standard as well. Perfectionism is not your friend in any situation, but particularly in parenthood. And actually, there's certain things that just don't need doing. So my advice would be write a list of all those things you've got to do. Strike out some of the things that actually don't need to happen, or don't need to happen to the level that you are doing them to currently. So the 80% rule, 80% will do. And in almost all circumstances, 80% will do. Strike out those things that don't need to be done, and then start to look at the things that maybe somebody else could do. Whether that's your other half, whether that's a family member, whether that's even one of the kids, or you could pay somebody to do. So you're ironing, for instance, is it that you could take that somewhere or get somebody to do the ironing for you, if you're fortunate enough to be able to pay for services like that, or like cleaning, do it. Don't try and do it all yourself. There's no badge at the end of this, there's no medal. So if you can outsource to somebody that you can pay, do it. Not everybody can afford that, and certainly we don't look to spend our money in that way. So therefore it gets divided up in the house. Talk to your other half, look at the list, who actually doesn't mind doing certain jobs, and we'll take those on, versus things that you really, really hate. But divide it up, and work out how you're going to do it between you, and set things up for success as well. So we have the laundry is a really big deal in our house, with there being 5 of us. We have 3 baskets, lights, darks, colours. The kids can all put their laundry in a basket. Even the 5-year-old, he knows where things go. And that just really helps me, or my husband, whoever's doing the washing on that day, to be able to put things, put the load on so much easier than having to spend an extra 3-4 minutes sorting through. So there's just little wins like that. Other piece of advice I'd give is about self-care. It becomes never ending, the housework, the chores, the mental load. But actually, if you can take yourself away from it, whether that's going and having a bath, reading a book, doing some craft, chatting to a friend on the phone, going out to an exercise class, you pick your jam, whatever is your thing, but make sure it happens, and make sure it happens on a regular basis as well. Diarise it, book it in, do it with a friend, anything that's going to help you to keep that date. Because when it gets to that moment, 9 times out of 10 you won't do it. There'll always be another job, there'll always be something else that needs doing that will unfortunately take priority over your self-care. So diarise it, get it in, make sure that it happens, because we all need to top ourselves up. Give is very depleting, and we do need to look after ourselves and pay back into that bank account. Think of it like a bank account, and every action and chore and activity that you do for somebody or something else is withdrawing from that bank account, particularly the non-enjoyable stuff. Absolutely, there's things that we do enjoy doing and we want to do and we can take pleasure from, even if they do, they are more of a chore. But a lot of it is very depleting. So you need to put some pennies back into that bank account, and you'll know from when you've spent time with someone you really like, a close friend or family, and how filled up you feel after that. And that is kind of replenishing that bank account. So make sure you're doing that. And then really, I suppose the other thing that does help me is acknowledging how I'm feeling, whether that's by talking to somebody close when I'm feeling stressed and saying it out loud. You know what, I'm feeling quite stressed at the minute. And also acknowledging that that's okay. These feelings are okay. You're not a bad parent or lacking in other ways if you say, you know what, I'm feeling a bit stressed and I'm feeling a bit down about this constant nature of give and doing all of these kind of mundane tasks very often. It's okay to say, it's getting me down a bit, and that can be really helpful. And not only talking to someone, but also journaling as well, writing it down, and sort of, to demystify the journaling if it's something you've never done before. It's literally just getting out what's in here onto paper or out loud if we're talking to somebody. But actually it helps to work it out. So if you think of imagine a really tricky maths problem, you wouldn't try and work it all out in your head. You'd say, well, that's impossible. I need to write it down, or I need to do it on a calculator. I can't process it all in my head. It's exactly the same with trying to understand your emotions as well. You can't work it all out in your head. It feels too fuzzy. It feels too much. But when you write it out on paper, suddenly it's reflected back at you, and you think, oh, okay, so it's that one thing that's probably really bothering me more than anything. So is there something I can do about that? It just helps to understand what's going on in your head, and therefore you can focus in on the things that are overwhelming you and that you do probably want to focus on a little bit more. So hopefully those top tips have helped. Hopefully that's something that you can go away and have a think about if you're feeling a bit stressed, a bit overwhelmed, a bit burnt out. Ask for help, look at what you're doing, take out the non-value added stuff, and actually just bring back the fun. Life is fun, and there's fun to be had in every corner. And actually, if we reframe what we do and think it's just for fun, nothing is that important when it comes to housework and chores and the mundane tasks. It doesn't have to be heavy. Ask for help, share the load, take out the stuff that's not working or doesn't need to be done, reframe things, and be really clear on what it is that is really getting you down, and help you to work through that, and make that time for yourself, because that is really, really important, and probably something we all forget and we don't prioritize. Hopefully that's helped. If you have a question that you would like to ask the Hummingbird, then comment below, and we will cover that in the next video. See you soon. Bye.